What's up, guys? It's me, Henrik, and today, as you can see from the title, we will be installing this DO88 intercooler on my 2004 Volvo V70R. Now, in reality, this is not actually a DO88, this is some off-brand, but it looks pretty similar, and I got it for a sweet deal from some guy on Facebook Marketplace, so I thought it would be worth a shot, and we'll see how it does. So yeah, first step is to take the bumper off. Alright, so once you've got the bumper off, what you're going to want to do is take off the charge pipe. There's like a couple Torx things here and there. I think there's 4 total. You're just going to want to take those off so you can get access to take off the fan shroud here. Alright, so I got the charge pipe off. Only real hard part about it was the clamp on the turbo right there. You can't really see right now, but the clamp there kind of sucked to get at. But honestly, it wasn't too bad. That was just only inconvenience. Now the next step is to remove the air filter box, which I don't expect to be very difficult at all. Okay, so I kind of jinxed myself there, and taking the air box out was actually a lot more labor intensive than I thought it would be. Yeah, so I basically had to... Actually, I don't really know if I had to do this, but I kind of removed the radiator support here. I can't really get it fully off because I think these little thingamajiggies here. But I got it mostly off, enough so that I can get access to the radiator and intercooler here. Part that sucked the most about taking the airbox off was this simple T25 Torx that was on the back of the MAF here. This one sucked because there was no way you could get at it, really. You had to, like, put your hand, you had to put your hand like behind here, and it really sucked. So yeah, that was not good, but I got it out. Next step is, I don't know, I'm gonna have to check the instructions manual. And just for my own reference, remember that this thing, I think it has something to do with the ABS or something. This thing needs to pop back onto the side of the airbox right here. Also, this metal thing goes through here to the back of this with that Torx there. Like, that has to be held up with that. Alright, so the next step was to remove the intercooler outlet pipe, which is this one right here. This one put up a real good fight. It came off of right there, kind of hard to see, but basically it came off there. You had to unplug the IAT sensor there, but that was the easy part. Getting this thing off was so hard. I mean, it was like, yeah, it should not have been that difficult, but the next step after that was to get the inlet side off, which I already did. As you can see, there's now just an empty pipe right there. That side took like 5 minutes, so that was pretty easy. Now, the next step is to, I think, kind of remove the fan cover, I believe. So, yeah, I'll check in when I figure it out. Okay, so what I need to do is, I'm just gonna, not sure if all cars have these, but mine are zip tied, and all this like kind of plastic stuff on it is gone, but basically what we have to do is remove these zip ties here. I have one there and one here, so that basically it's not attached to the fan shroud anymore. Remove that, unplug this big connector right here, and then get at these 2 bolts here and there, and then the fan shroud should be able to just be removed. So that's how I'm going to do now. Alright, fan is now out. You can see it's over there. Fairly simple, to be honest. Not really much to it. Got it out. Now we're removing the plastic radiator cover. Not really quite sure what it is, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so the radiator protection thing is this like under tray plastic thing that sits under there. Really not hard to take off at all. Just thought I'd document it. Alright, next step is to drain the coolant, which I believe mine looks a little different from how it looked in the instruction thing, but I believe it's this little thing right here, which I will now try to loosen. We'll see what happens. Yep, that was the right thing. Pouring out kind of funny, but there we go. Just gotta wait for it to drain. I'm gonna try to reuse this if possible. It doesn't look too bad, I don't think. So, yeah. Cool. Okay, I might have forgotten to document this. I kind of forget, but I got the pipe going from the main intercooler up there to the auxiliary intercooler. I got that off on this side. Now, just gotta do this side. And yeah, I'll check back in once I've done that. Okay, now I've gotten the hose, the second hose for the auxiliary intercooler off right here. So now the aux intercooler is now free. And now I think it's pretty much time to drop the whole thing, radiator and intercooler. Now it says it's recommended that you have like a friend to do this, but it's like midnight and I don't have any friends, so we're gonna use a jack. So yeah, see how this goes. All right, here's the setup. I got my jack. I got this plank of wood. Not really sure if it's doing anything, but still good to have, I'd say. And I've got it, and I've got it supporting, the whole shebang. Now I'm just gonna undo all the bolts and hope that this thing doesn't fall to one side. All right, so it's 1:15 a.m. and here's pretty much where I'm at. I cannot for the life of me get the radiator and intercooler to drop out. And in the instructions, it seems as though the condenser actually stays in place, but in my case, it's like falling out too. Alright, so I'll explain this more later in the video, but basically I actually got this wrong, and you were not supposed to drop out the radiator and intercooler separately from the condenser. Instead, you're supposed to drop the whole thing as like one unit. And that made it much easier because the AC lines can kind of bend. Like, although most of them are metal, there's one part that's rubber, so that part is the part that bends. And then you can get the whole thing down, and it makes it much easier to pull out the intercooler. Okay, so this definitely was not necessary in most applications, but I just removed the headlight just so that any chance that I can get more access to this, because I'm really stuck on this. Like, now you can get a better view of it. This right here, stuck on this tube for the AC condenser. I really just do not know how to get this off. So I'm gonna do some digging and try to see what I can come up with. Okay, so I finally figured it out. Pretty much what you have to do is just drop the entire thing. For some reason, I guess it had been stuck on the frame rail or something, because I mean, it was literally hanging like with no jacks, no bolts, nothing. And I was so confused. But I guess it was just stuck on something. So, yeah, I just kind of like hit it a couple times and then it kind of fell out. I'm not really sure if that's the official procedure, but it worked. So yeah, now I just got to take the intercooler out of this part. And it's coming off from the wrong side. Like from everywhere where I read, it was supposed to come out from this side. But, well, it clearly did not. It dropped out on this side. So I'm kind of confused why that happened, but whatever. I'm thankful I finally got this thing out. Alright, finally got it out. Everything's out of there now. I spilled a lot more coolant, but whatever. And here is a comparison between the OEM and the D088. You can really see the difference in thickness here. I mean, this is maybe an inch-ish. Actually, you know what? I'm going to measure it. Okay, so this one is a little bit over an inch, as you can see. The OEM one, that is. And here's the D088. This one is about 2 inches. So it's almost double the size, I'd say. Alright, I will now be going to Home Depot, though, because I did not realize that these OEM bolts are too short. Because, I mean, yes, they go through, but this is without it even going through the condenser. And then obviously there's going to have to be threads left for it to go into the actual bolt. So, yeah, gonna have to get longer screws, and I'll let you guys know on the actual specs of the screws once I get them, because I don't really know off the top of my head. This can be avoided by simply buying the real DO88 one, because as far as I know, they actually come with the right screws. Alright, I'm back. I got a ton of different bolts and stuff. We'll kind of just have to see what works. They didn't really have the right size. It should be M6 by 85 millimeters, 4 of those, but the store didn't have them. They either had 80 or 100, so I just got both, and we'll see what works. So yeah, now we need to put the DO88 and the radiator together. Alright, so I kind of forgot to film a lot of that, and probably an hour or two have passed since I filmed the last clip, but everything's in. You can see I use these kind of long bolts here. The shorter ones just really weren't cutting it, so I had to use the extra long ones. Hopefully this won't really cause a problem, but whatever. So that's all in. Everything's all fitted up, or like everything's mounted. I still have to do the tubes and stuff. Gotta put the fan in. Yeah, so I got all that in. Took a bit and definitely was pretty difficult, especially if you're one person. I mean, like, I would really recommend that you have another person to like help finagle all this stuff up there, because even with a jack, like there was some things where like you kind of needed a person to like operate the jack, because there were just some instances where you had to have two hands kind of, to position the intercooler and radiator in the right spot, and yeah, having one person just did not really help. Alright, so I got the radiator support on, got some of the bolts in. It's a really tight fit. I'm not really sure if it's supposed to be, but like this is right pressed up against the condenser there, and I mean it's a tight fit, so whatever. I mean, like, you can tell how stiff the whole cooling thing is, even though the top mounts aren't even in. So it's very tight, but whatever. I guess that's how it's supposed to be. Okay, so one thing I forgot to mention is that these upper radiator mounts, these little metal brackets, they need to be bent like this. So originally they are flat. I can show you the original one. Originally they look like this, and they're straight up and down like that. But what you got to do with them is you kind of got to bend them like to the side, like that. So if you look at these two, side by side, they just got to be bent like that. This is because, the whole radiator has been moved backwards, and so you have to change these so it still mounts. Okay, so I kind of forget where I left off, but just update. I got the headlight in. I got the fan in. I got the lower plastic tray thing in. I got the intercooler IAT sensor in, except where is it at right now? Yeah, right down there. Can't see it, but it's in. Now, next order of business is to connect the intercooler piping, which might be a struggle because it kind of looks like it doesn't really fit on there. But whatever, I'll figure it out. Alright guys, so I kind of realized that I forgot to film a lot, but basically it's all the steps that I showed in the beginning, just in reverse order, but I got everything on. I got the intercooler pipe on, the radiator hose on, the lower radiator hose on, the other intercooler pipe on right there. Got the airbox in. Yeah, I'm not really sure what else I did since I filmed last, but pretty much everything except for the charge pipe and front bumper. So yeah, it's pretty late right now, so I'm just gonna put the charge pipe on, maybe the front bumper. Then tomorrow morning, I'm gonna wake up and bleed the coolant system or whatever, and that should be good to go. So yeah. All right, finally we've reached the end of the road. Got the bumper on, as you can see. Headlight wipers, obviously. Got the charge pipe on. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Bumper, I kind of feel like it fits a little worse now with the intercooler, but honestly, it's like good enough. But I mean, you can just see like the gaps in here are kind of weird, but whatever. It doesn't really bother me too much. So yeah, all that's left to do is just tomorrow. I mean, it's 1:30 a.m. right now. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna fix the get the coolant in there, and then we should be good to go. So yeah, see you guys tomorrow. All right, it's the next day, and I'm currently bleeding the coolant. It's going pretty well. Everything seems to be working fine, so that's definitely a relief. Alright, so I just went for a test drive and kind of drove it around a little bit, filled up the coolant here and there, and coolant seems to be at a pretty stable level now, so yeah, that's good. And I think that concludes this project. I might have a video up at some point, maybe as a comparison or just my thoughts on it, because I haven't really gone into boost too much just yet, because I just want to kind of let it, I don't know, I just don't want to, rip it right out of the gate. So yeah, I'd say that was a pretty successful project. Only thing I'm considering doing now is painting the condenser or something, because I mean, this is not the best looking thing. All of these are bent and there's overspray everywhere, so I might try to fix that. Not really sure how, but yeah, it's looking pretty good though. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope this was at least semi-helpful, although it might have been more a compilation of me doing things wrong. But hopefully you could learn something from this, what not to do. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.